Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Bevan, the Multimedia Communication Specialist for Lawrence Public Schools, and you're listening to the Lawrence Public Schools podcast, the only podcast that still reads young adult dystopian novels. New Hunger Games books, not bad.
That's funny.
I'm here with my co-host, Superintendent Dr. Janice Swift.
Well, good afternoon, Andrew. It's great to join you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad to have you here. It's been a while.
It's been a while. We've been on a brief hiatus, but what a great time to be back as we really look down the end of the school year and spring and all that brings.
I know, the busiest time of the year.
It is.
Tends to be the end for some reason.
It really is.
But glad to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
So on today's episode, we'll be chatting about program enhancements. Now, Dr. Swift, you gave a presentation at the April 28th board meeting about these program enhancements that will be coming to some of our district programs later this year.
In the recent end of April presentation was really the second. We actually started back in March talking about the 25-26 enhancements. These are steps forward, really, that are about education, excellence, and equity. It really is about opportunities for students, really all designed around closing disparity gaps and achievement gaps. And the exciting piece is that each of these is the result of direct student, staff, and community input back from our fall conversations. So you can really draw a straight line from the conversation to our report out that we gave in January, straight through to this plan and next steps moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go through some of these enhancements, kind of group them together and just have a chat about them, huh?
Very good. So two of them are really continuations of chapters that we began in prior years.
Yes. The Montessori program and the STEAM at Liberty Memorial Central Middle School program as well.
That is correct.
So for those who aren't in the know, these are programs that we've had running this year. STEAM at LMCMS specifically is one that started this year. Montessori's been going for a couple years now, and they have been very successful programs. They offer different academic focuses for current students in middle school and in early childhood and elementary school. So STEAM at LMCMS. You want to go into that for me?
Yeah, so the STEAM focus is really around the use of the National Shining Program Project Lead the Way, which is really a science, technology, engineering, math infused programming. You can look at pltw.org and read all about it. But our students at Liberty Memorial Central Middle School will have opportunities for a much more in-depth, kind of a real immersive experience in our Project Lead the Way curricula. So they will be using design and modeling, and then also robotics. And over this next year and the coming years, they'll be continuing to introduce more and more of the Project Lead the Way STEAM modules into their daily studies.
Yeah, exactly. So STEAM at LMCMS has been more focused on STEM, like you were mentioning earlier, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and implementing those into the classroom. It's not a completely different experience. Mm-hmm. It's just one that enhances and focuses on those specific areas and then connects them together.
That's right. So they might be building things, they might be designing, they might be working with robots, but our students really are doing that critical thinking and problem solving, project-based learning that really does bring a level of relevance and a real live experience. And that is occurring at 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. So we're really excited to see how that program develops over the coming years.
Yeah, it was super cool visiting last year and promoting that whole program and finally seeing it implemented. I went to a student showcase last semester.
Yes.
It was so cool. They had all these projects that were student made about these very complex topics from, ecosystems to accessibility in design and in infrastructure. So it was super cool. Another thing that we will talk about is Montessori.
Yes.
So New York Montessori is a program available at New York Elementary. As of the 2024-25 school year, we're currently wrapping up. New York Montessori has students in preschool, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade.
Exactly. So we've grown that program. And I know it seems like just such a short time since we launched the program in Lawrence Public Schools, but really, believe it or not, our students are moving into upper elementary. So next year, that 3, 4, 5 level. So we're building, just like you said, on the preschool model, then on the early elementary model, K1, 2, and now we really are building into upper elementary.
Yes, and that program is taking place at New York Elementary, which is just an incredible school with incredible staff. I had the privilege of talking to some educators, some teachers there that work in New York Montessori.
And they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. And
They do say that.
Andrew, you recently published a video shot right from New York Montessori. So if folks want to see that live action from Montessori, could you drop that in the show notes for
Absolutely.
our
I will
listeners?
definitely do that. So yeah, I'll drop that in our show notes. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on our website. And it's me sitting down with 2 amazing Montessori teachers.
Oh, they are amazing.
Yeah, they were incredible. So talking to them and them explaining what the experience is like, what it is for people who don't know. So highly recommend that if you are at all interested in the Montessori education system, in that curriculum, in that experience. They give an incredible insight and they're just so passionate about it. And it being the first public Montessori program in the state of Kansas is a huge flex, in my opinion.
Yes. And I love that in my past, I also oversaw a Montessori program for several years. So it's really neat to see it growing here in Lawrence. We can already sense a tremendous following among parents and students and families who really value and appreciate the Montessori model.
Exactly. It's different, again, but it's just another option for students and families.
Right. That's right. So let's talk about elementary programming. How about that next?
So elementary school programming has been enhanced, we'll say, starting with expanding the preschool offerings into our neighborhood schools. We've already had preschool programs. We had early childhood programs at Kennedy Early Childhood Center. And we also have, again, New York Montessori with their pre-K program as well. In addition to those existing programs, we're also adding additional preschool classrooms to Sunflower Elementary and Woodlawn Elementary. Is that correct?
That is correct. So, Andrew, there's just decades of research that shows that the benefits of a quality preschool program for 3 and 4-year-olds, they just cannot be overstated. There are even studies that look at folks in midlife and really attribute some of the positive outcomes to enrollment in a quality preschool program. So we love the work that goes on at Kennedy Early Childhood Center. It's just a magic place. And then also what happens in Montessori preschool. And we wanted to bring that to our neighborhood schools. Now, this will be an ongoing process over years, but the vision behind it is a preschool seat for every child in Lawrence, Kansas. So I don't know about you, but that excites me so much that every child in our community would have the opportunity for a preschool enrollment at ages 3 and 4 years old. We know the childcare crisis that we've experienced in our country. It's just really hard to find quality childcare, and how wonderful it is to actually bring quality preschool right into the neighborhood elementary school.
Absolutely. With childcare being such a huge issue in our country in general, and child development at that age being so critical to their growth, to their education, to their lives. I mean, they're sponges. They absorb everything. They are always changing. New neural pathways are at their most malleable at that age.
That's a great way to say it, yes.
It is essential that you get them in the mindset of learning and expanding their independence at an early age. The earlier, the better. So having the opportunity to connect with families and with students at such a critical point in their life and their development is huge.
Exactly. So, Andrew, there are really a couple things that folks who may be interested in preschool should know.
Yeah.
One of them is that there's a list of factors that will cause students to qualify for free preschool. So I just want to encourage everyone out there to give us a call or an email, and we will work with you. It's not just about income. There are really some other factors.
Yes, there are.
So we invite folks to call if you think you might qualify and just check on that. The other way is that students may become eligible through tuition.
Yep.
That tuition for next year is going to be $660 a month. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a lot, but when you shop daycare, that really is a reasonable amount. It actually is based on our costs of the program. So we are excited to welcome students, those who qualify or those who may choose a tuition-based preschool programming.
You can also find more information about each specific program that we have on our website at www.usd497.org/preschool. We'll have all the information there for each program. That's New York Montessori, Early Childhood Center, Sunflower, and Woodlawn. So be sure to check there if you're interested.
That's great. So now we're going to talk about elementary science, aren't we?
Yes. I think everybody could agree, right? Like elementary science is the best subject in elementary school. I
think it has definitely the ability to be that, although I was a teacher of all the other subjects, so they compete
so you're
also.
It's okay. It's okay to be biased. That's fine.
Exactly. We know the benefit of science education to really foster that critical thinking, that problem solving, that curiosity about the world, the hands-on learning that makes learning so relevant and connected to kids. And so we are excited to launch a high-interest, hands-on, standards-aligned elementary science as a dedicated special rotation taught next year by a fully certificated teacher. So our grade level teachers have been doing an excellent job, and yet now we're really going to make a separate space for science at the elementary level.
Yeah, science is a building block for, well, really the world around us, starting at the early elementary school level, like we've said earlier with preschool, right, is important because that's when students begin to develop those passions, begin to develop their specific niche.
And folks might not realize it, but research shows us that the development of learning skills and abilities really are reciprocal. So students will learn to read better, they'll learn to write better. All of that will occur in science in a very similar way that it occurs in the other core subjects.
Absolutely, right? So you need to learn how to read. You need to understand text and be able to think critically, make conclusions, make hypotheses, and then analyze data in order to make a final conclusion.
Yes. And, just a little bit later, I'm headed into a meeting with teachers who are interested in teaching science at elementary. And I have to tell you, Andrew, these professionals are passionate. They are excited. They are like the science guy on steroids.
Oh, Mr. Nye.
And they're completely sold on their subject matter. And I know that our students are going to benefit from this specials rotation in every single elementary school.
That's awesome. Yeah, having it as a special rotation, getting it consistent and dedicated time for science. I wish I had that when I was a kid too.
Me too.
Because science is such an important and essential subject. So excited to see how that turns out.
Me too.
So now on to our school tools that we've been planning to implement later this fall. We've been talking a lot about students. Let's start with some parent stuff. So we're going to be unifying school-based communications using a program called ParentSquare. Can you explain that for me?
So we have heard throughout our community conversation just this overarching need to consolidate and unify communications coming from the school. Certainly appreciate those principal newsletters. Many of them come on Sunday evenings or Mondays, just a really consistent tool across our elementaries. But for parents, we heard widely this desire to consolidate all the stuff coming, say, around band or choir or athletics or clubs, all the activities that students are involved in. And what was happening for a few years is that parents were being asked to download many additional apps. While I was out on the tour, parents would show me their phones with a dozen apps on them just to keep up with their children and all their activities. So what ParentSquare will allow us to do is for every parent to have a single page, a single interface that holds the communications around all of their students. That will be the newsletters from the school, those alerts that maybe the track coach is sending thunder and lightning on the track this afternoon, so we can't have practice outdoors. Maybe it's real-time alerts. Ongoing communications for all of your students will be co-located in one place. Isn't that like revolutionary?
I can't believe anybody has never thought of this.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, so the ParentSquare is a great tool. What it also will allow is some two-way communication.
Oh, okay.
So you know how, say, a student with particular needs, at the end of the day, the teacher may want to say, here's how our day went. They're now able to do that text phone to phone that doesn't involve the use of personal cell phones. So it's going to be really nice to just protect everyone involved and have all of that in this system.
Having a million apps to keep track of your child's education, what they're doing, teachers, principals, admin, it does throw a lot at you, and simplifying that process any way we can is super important. The hope is it will streamline that and hopefully eliminate those multiple apps so you don't have to have 100 apps to do one basic task.
Exactly. One other neat piece, and I know we've got to move on because we have a lot to talk about today, but one piece that I think parents will really appreciate is that a parent can choose to fit that communication to their daily schedule and their daily life. So you can choose to receive all of the day's communications at one time, a particular time of day. Maybe I want those at 5:30 when I get off of work, or maybe I'm on the night shift and I want all of those communications to come at noon before I go to the evening shift. Parents can choose that, or you can choose to receive them live in real time. And so that means they would just pop into your box throughout the day. So this is really about unifying and customizing what parents, students, families, and staff need.
Well, that seems like a great idea. We'll see how that works out and see what families think about it when it gets implemented. We're rolling it out during the summer.
We're going to practice a little bit during May, June, and July. And then in the fall, everyone will be in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, more on that when the story develops, okay?
Exactly.
All right. So moving on now to students again. Their technology at high school level has been iPads. The plan now is to equip high school students with MacBooks.
So Andrew, and I think you were with me for a couple of these meetings, we heard directly from our high school students, their feedback that the iPad assignment, they don't feel that it was preparing them perfectly for their next steps into college or a job or career. They really felt like in order to be better prepared that they needed the MacBook or the laptop option.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that we were able to use capital outlay funds. We used no funds, Andrew, that can be used for salaries and benefits for the classroom. We used only those dedicated capital funds. We'll be able to equip grades 9 through 12 with that MacBook experience that they have overwhelmingly shared with us that they need and want.
Yeah. From their feedback, I totally see what they mean by the experience of college and the experience in careers that simply, in a more technical level, the iPad OS just can't provide.
Right.
Right. The MacBook, the computer, the laptop are more aligned with the technology you're going to be using when you go into college, when you go into a career. Like for me, I haven't touched an iPad since I was like in elementary school, middle school, and I can see where their concerns are. And I love that they're advocating for themselves. And I love,
do too.
Yeah, I think that's great. And
It's awesome.
Can't wait to see how that develops too.
So we have a couple of programs that we're rolling out.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually deepening our work on these two areas that are really about support of academics. So we're going to be looking both at continuing and completing our AVID implementation is one. The other one is really to deepen and widen that Jayhawk blueprint KU experience, the experience that allows students the opportunity to achieve college credit while they're still in high school. And Andrew, a big challenge in our country is students graduating college with big debt.
Yeah.
We hear about that all the time. We know it's a reality. And really what KU offers us, and how lucky are we to live here under the shadow of the almighty University of Kansas. And so what we have the opportunity for is that our students can actually achieve college credit while still in high school. The research tells us if students can even succeed in one college class during the 4 years of high school, that it dramatically alters in a positive way their likelihood of being accepted,
Yep.
of going to college, of persevering, and of graduating college. Taking a college course in high school is like the secret sauce for so many of our kids to really see themselves as college students.
I, for one, welcome our Jayhawk overlords. And two, I think, KU reaching out and partnering with us to do that is just huge because, yes, like you said, tuition is a huge barrier.
It is.
We could get into that mess
right
later.
On another episode.
Yeah, we'll see. So just having the ability to take those college courses, to take a test run in a safe environment where you can fail, where you aren't financially ruined by those courses and by signing up.
Right. Right at your own high school.
Yeah.
With teachers that you know.
That you trust.
That you trust. And so we've had Jayhawk Blueprint for several years. But what this next step will allow us to do is really to deepen and strengthen the opportunities that are available. We have tremendous partners at KU. We have an amazing Blueprint team among our own Lawrence Public Schools staff. So we've got a winning combination.
Lawrence Schools Foundation, shout out, has done a lovely job at helping with the program, and KU has done an excellent job of providing opportunities for students in Kansas and actually, sticking their necks out for them. I'm very biased. I, of course, was a Jayhawk myself, but another obstacle is just seeing yourself in the college environment and what it's like to be there. I know for a fact when I was in high school, there was like this dark ominous cloud that hung above the ideal of college, and that it might not be accessible to everybody. And a lot of kids get the sense that they're just not college material. That's completely untrue. Anybody can go to college, and any person that wants to deserves to.
Exactly.
Finding any way to facilitate that, I think, is essential, and that's what Jayhawk Blueprint does. Makes me wish I had that when I was in high school. But I feel like this program is just very student-friendly, pro-consumer, and ultimately it just gives students another option. It gives them the autonomy that they deserve to choose their future, whether they're going into college or a career. We want them to be prepared, and this gives them an opportunity to do that. Actually, speaking of getting ready for college and careers, let's move on to another program that we'll be enhancing later this fall, AVID. So AVID's been in the district for a long time, and
a while, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's present at all levels, high school, middle school, and even our elementary schools.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit more about how we're planning to, quote unquote, finish the implementation this fall.
That's right. So as of 2026, we will be fully implemented with AVID across every school, every site location. So we will be a fully immersed AVID district. That's a big deal in the country.
Yep.
To have met that threshold. Andrew, when I was out on our community conversation, the way I heard parents speak to this, I don't think they even realized exactly what they were pointing to. But one mom, and I can give you other examples, I'm thinking of one particular mom out at a school who said, I just want more of my child's experience to teach them responsibility. She used the word responsibility. And when she used that word, I heard AVID, because it really is about those skills that are adjacent to the actual academic skills. So it's those skills of note-taking, of critical listening, of conversation, of organization, big deal to keep your materials organized, of organizing a calendar, an academic calendar for yourself. And Andrew, you were with me out at Sunflower and at Southwest recently, and you and I got to speak with a kindergartner who told us, shared very articulately about note-taking.
Yes.
And what that meant to him. And he really articulated that it was a tool that helped him learn and remember. Do you remember that?
They were all very lovely. And his particular one about note-taking, helping him and actually seeing the wheels turn in his head about the impact of it on him and his appreciation for it.
Exactly.
It's just heartwarming.
Exactly. So if folks aren't familiar and they want to read more, they can go to AVID. It's really easy, avid.com.
Yep.
It stands for something like everything in education does.
It stands for Advancement via Individual Determination.
Very good, Andrew. I'm proud of you for knowing that.
I did my research.
But they can look it up. They can Google it and read all about it. But I would just share, it isn't just for first-generation college students or for those students in the academic middle. That's kind of one place that is useful. But really those reading, writing, critical thinking, organizational, time management, and goal-setting skills, those skills are a rising tide for every student in the building. You know what I love for the classroom teacher, and I was a classroom teacher in an AVID system, it gives more time for the focus on content because students are already building through the AVID program their organizational and other support skills.
Yeah, those interpersonal skills, right?
Exactly.
Those skills that are ancillary to the actual learning that you're doing.
Exactly.
Right? It doesn't teach you things that you should learn. It teaches you how to learn.
I love that. In an overt way, it's like naming those overt teachings of study skills, which I think sometimes have assumed, well, not every child needs that. And in reality, it helps all of us just to have that focus on the side so that we have a system to organize our learning.
Absolutely. And when I was in college, I was described the purpose of education and all of these seemingly annoying things that we had to learn. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. The purpose of learning them wasn't necessarily to learn the thing. It was to show you how you can teach yourself to learn something.
I love that.
And AVID is that to a T.
It is.
If you can learn using these skills, you can learn anything you want to.
Exactly. And so it's all about giving students choices because they have those adjacent skills to enter any environment, high school, tech school, college, career, job training, military. They can enter with a set of prerequisite skills that will support their success in any environment. So then it frees up space to find your passion as a student because you've got the organizational piece. As that parent said to me, you've got the responsibility already under your belt.
Definitely. Yeah. Yep. Learning soft skills is always important.
Exactly. Well, Andrew, isn't it an exciting time in the district?
Yes.
Yes.
It's honestly kind of, it's bittersweet because we come to the end of the school year and we talk about all these exciting things for next year. And I'm like, well, I have to wait through summer to see how these turn out. It's like the end of a season of a TV show you were really into. It ends on a cliffhanger. It's like, well, now I have to wait for next season. Oh, that's great.
Yes.
But yes, thank you so much for sharing those with me and sharing your expertise in a lot of these subjects.
Oh, well, Andrew, I could tell that you studied up.
Oh,
And you probably used your AVID skills.
We did. Yeah, we did. We did use those Y-core skills
Yes.
to prepare for this. So
I love that.
Always.
So, we are here at the beginning of May looking out so many student awards, student occasions, those end of the year Showtime events. It's just such a great time. But Andrew, I'm looking at graduations.
Uh-oh.
And they're right here pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. They're
Are you
right
aware?
around the corner. Oh, yeah. I'm always aware.
I thought you were.
I'm locked in.
So we're starting at Pinckney for CTRAN on the 15th of May.
Excited.
And then starting the 15th, all the graduations just roll out.
Yep.
And then we finish over the season over at Adult Ed
Season finale.
Services on May 29th. So we've really got a couple of weeks where folks, if you want to be inspired, attend a graduation ceremony. That's all I have to say. And then Key is Lawrence Virtual School on the 17th.
Yep.
And then Lawrence High School on the 20th. And then Free State High on the 21st. And I bet you could drop our graduation flyer into the show notes.
Absolutely.
Because
I can do that.
we've got parents and grandparents and neighbors and cousins who want to get these things on their calendar.
Absolutely. I highly recommend that you do. And if you at all are interested, please attend these events because, they're really once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. And I've talked to so many students, both in, obviously, my professional career here at the district, but also in my personal life, about how much they care, how much it means to them to see people in the crowd cheering for them.
They do.
There might not be somebody out there cheering for that student. Yeah. So showing up and cheering for every single one that goes up there and accomplishes such an important, such a monumental milestone in their life helps.
That's right. It's a community celebration,
yes,
isn't
absolutely.
it? Yes.
It's bigger than just, oh, that's my student, that's my kid.
That's right.
It's everybody. A victory for one of our students is a victory for everybody in this community.
I love the way you said that. So congrats to the class of 2025.
Yes.
And Andrew, I'm going to be out at each of the high schools in conversation with members of the class of 2025.
Yeah.
And really reflecting with them on their time, through their K-12 career, PK-12 career for many of them.
Oh, yeah. I will be there taking photos for one of our students and cheering everybody on. It's going to be exciting. It was such an amazing first go around last year to do that and to experience that. I cannot wait to do it again.
The feeling is just second to none.
Nothing like it.
Yeah. That and the welcoming of Kenders. don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Those
They're
two are
both awesome.
neck and neck, honestly. It's like picking your favorite kid. It's impossible.
Exactly.
So that brings us to the very end of this episode. Thank you, Dr. Swift, so much for being here with me.
Thank you, Andrew. We just appreciate our community, our staff, and our students. What an extraordinary time to take the next steps forward into 2025, 26, and beyond.
Yeah.
And we're just so grateful that we're able to align our work with exactly what our folks told us that they wanted to see in our schools. We're not going to say that we flipped a switch and achieved everything overnight, because that really is a longer process.
Yes.
But it's really exciting to take some steps forward, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's a privilege to take input from a community that cares, that wants you to improve. And now, the pressure's on.
Yes.
Pressure is a privilege, they say.
I love that saying. I haven't heard that. Yeah.
Oh, well, now you do. I said it. I came up with it. Yeah.
I like it.
Quote me.
Yes, very good.
Well, be sure to follow Lawrence Public Schools wherever you listen to your podcasts, and follow Lawrence Public Schools on our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube. For more news just like this, you can check out our website too at www.usd497.org. And thank you, dear listeners, for everything you do and for sitting through this.
Yes.
We will see you on the next episode of the Lawrence Public Schools podcast.
Very good.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.